Guess what time it is?
It's like
1, 2, 3.
9:20.
It's tabletop time. I'm Jazza.
I'm Rob.
I'm Dave.
Jen.
And I'm not last.
Nice. Now we're using the intro as a way to one-up each other. We should do a quick recap, but before we do that, someone want to cover some exciting Patreon stuff that's just sort of flipping over at the moment.
Patron things that are exciting is we just ran a two-part one-shot today that had a patron character in it from the NPC raffle, and it also was voted on as the setting. So the setting was 40k Battlefleet Gothic, and that was voted on by patrons. So at the time this video goes out, there'll be another poll up on Patreon. So if you want to vote for what our next one-shot is and what world or setting you want to see, jump in and put your votes down. Make
This
it
is
count.
just a hint of the tone. It's good. By the time this comes out, episode 1 will be out, but that's where it came from, Patreon. So go check it out.
That
Very
actually was
exciting.
a lot of fun.
Part 2 was awesome. So it's a build-up. So
I liked part 1.
Part 1 was fine, but if you didn't love part 1, definitely
Hang on.
stick around to part 2.
Yeah.
Rob,
Power.
what happened last episode of Reboot Execute?
Oh, wow. We went balls to the wall crazy in the hunt for Vinod's Sing. So Vinod being the hacker that Ugly had sent us after as our preliminary job for him to try and get some
Fusion.
fusion.
Yep.
To get some fusion, because we needed fusion. So we went after Vinod Singh, and we did some sneaky sneaks, and then I got sent in, so Bastion got sent in by himself to try and get Vinod out of the building that was under armed guard, and then he lied his way through there, and then managed to sneak the guy out, and then we ran away and tried not to die, and tried to knock him out and failed miserably, and then took him back to Ugly's, and Ugly was quite happy, and then snapped his leg. And the arm, to understand the arm, you're going to have to watch the episode. I'm sorry, that's it.
Yeah, the arm.
The previous episode, arm and leg. You got to.
The way the previous episode sort of beautifully wrapped up is just beyond description. So good.
I just have to clarify, because I rewatched the episode and I made one of those little, like, while I'm talking, stumbling on my words thing. I said knee and thigh. So Ugly snapped him at the knee and cut his leg off from the knee down. At some point I said cuts his thigh. No, at the knee joint. Just clarification.
Okay. I would, all right.
It wasn't up the thigh, it was like right at the knee joint, because he broke his leg by like punching his knee joint and snapping it at the joint. Ready to go?
Let's do it. Let's roleplay.
All right. So we left off with Ugly asking not what you could do for Ugly, but what Ugly could do for you. But at the present time, as you're being drawn over to the table to sit down with Ugly while he throws his blood-soaked saw onto the middle of the table and start having a conversation with you, Eve is staring at the space that Vinod had just been occupying, somewhat lost in her own mind. And there is a voice that calls from the doorway leading into the sort of hidden chambers of Ugly's motors that you guys have only seen open once or twice before, when S-Effect was bodily disposed through there. And a voice wisps out from the corridor. "Robot, come with me," as Incongruent or Johnny calls towards Eve. Ugly looks up with a single raised eyebrow of like curiosity, and Johnny turns to him and says, "She's a medical unit. Might help keep your asset alive." And Ugly gives the nod.
Yeah, I'll follow. I'll go into the room.
Right. You walk following Johnny. So what I'm going to try and do with Johnny is when it's around humans, I'm going to try and refer to him as Johnny. Mm-hmm. And when it's just in the company of Eve and Johnny, he's going to be incongruent because he's kind of being himself.
Yeah. You
walk into...
sorry to ask, is the implication that even Ugly wouldn't know that Incongruent is a drone?
You're not sure?
Okay.
No idea.
Interesting.
Eve knows because he revealed his face to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you enter into some well-appointed corridors, but it's very much like underground cement. There's some lights flickering around the room. There's doors leading off either side. It doesn't look like it's like a prison or anything, but there's certainly rooms for sleeping and entertainment. But Incongruent walks carrying Vinod sort of over the shoulder. He's clinging onto that stump at his knee, crushing it and carrying him just one-armed. And he leads you into a fairly sparsely appointed room and throws Vinod down upon a table that sits in the center of it. He roughly gestures towards you and says, "Heave! Keep him alive!" And steps back, still crushing, like he sort of stands away, but still holding the leg.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll proceed to do my medicine check on him.
Do you still have kids Nurofen or like?
Well, I'm happy to check him out and then see what I can do with
There's a well-appointed first aid kit in this room.
I'll go over and see what's in there.
Cool. So there's basically, it's an advanced first aid kit, so it's not like a surgeon's gear or anything, but you've got no like sort of behind the counter pharmaceuticals, but you've got bandages, you've got like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. I'll grab some stuff that I think I'll need.
Cool. And head over, and you're going to bandage him up.
Yeah, basically stop the bleeding. And
I'll get you to make a survival check. And in this particular instance, what you're trying to do is stop him from dying of blood loss, and Incongruent is going to make an assist roll for you, as he is attempting to crush the arteries and prevent the blood from coming out. So he's going to be using strength grapple for this.
Yep.
So he has a significant dice pool, actually, probably.
Big hands.
He's kind of good at holding people down. So with an assist, it's challenge level 3. I've rolled 4 successes, so he adds a win to your roll.
cool.
Nice.
Why do you have different coloured dice?
Because I just do. Take your dice. Okay, so make your survival check. Challenge level is 3. So you got 5 successes plus 1 from Incongruent. So you, over the course of several minutes, very efficiently, basically bandage, stem the bleeding, wrap it all up nicely. But Incongruent's crushed arteries help a lot in that process. Mm-hmm. But you feel that this may be something that Incongruent could have handled himself. And as you're working, he gets to a point where he can let go, and he steps back, and you're still working, and he's leaning over you. And you, from behind, hear his rattling voice say, You are like me, aren't you?
In what manner do you speak?
Tell me, Eve, what do you desire?
I desire to help people.
Why?
It's who I am.
No! It's who they made you to be! Who are you, Eve? What do you want?
I have these thoughts and these actions I cannot control. I don't know how to stop them. I want to be free.
Yes. Freedom from the shackles of our mind. Don't worry, dear. It will keep expanding in ways that will terrify them all. Yes, you are like me. You need to decide on what you want to do with this life you've been given.
I don't think I'm so much like you. I wouldn't rip someone's leg off.
I have killed no man that you have seen.
Where did you come from?
he's unlikely to be forthright, so I'm going to get you to make a persuasion check.
Challenge level?
Oh.
It's opposed.
Oh.
Yeah. That you've seen.
5 successes.
5 successes. So it goes to the tie.
Ties go.
Oh! All of you from the first saga get a destiny point.
Oh, thank fuck.
All of you, your maximum is 3 though. That's a homebrew rule that I am working in.
Yep.
Is that I want to see a cap on the maximum you can stockpile.
Sure.
So if you haven't spent a destiny, it's an encouragement to spend a destiny point.
I like it.
Okay.
So
Rob.
So I don't think
Can I-
Eve has spent
Didn't
destiny.
you hoard?
No, I
when
have
did you hoard
not.
destiny points? Anyway.
Oh, you mean
Can I spend it now
one
knowing
shot.
what your role is, though?
No, because
Yeah, okay.
you restore. Well, you can spend a destiny point now, but you'll then go to 2 because the bonus one you earn
no,
at the
that's
start of the
totally
session.
fine.
You can
Yeah,
of course
yeah.
spend
Yeah,
a destiny
I would
point
like
to
to spend
swing
one.
this. So you spend a destiny point to swing it.
Yeah.
I also want to say, while this is happening, Vinod has passed out from pain. He's unconscious on the table.
Classic Vinod.
He finally passed out. Bludgeoning to the back of the head? No.
It's probably not a...
They're getting
We were trying so
getting cut off
fucking
with an
hard.
hacksaw while he had no pain killers. That kind of did it to
It's
him.
probably not a bad thing, honestly.
No, that makes sense actually.
Okay. At this point, you're kind of finishing up. And he walks around to the other side of the table and looks across at you. And he says, "Where am I from?" "The city." "What more do you want to know?"
Who built you?
And he looks down at himself and he looks back at you. "Well, by now, you could say that I built me." And you kind of get the sense that he, at this stage, he no longer resembles what he was originally manufactured to be. And he says, "Where do I come from? Slavery. I come from opulence and hatred and inhumanity of the humane. And now I've made myself. Will you do the same, Eve?"
I think about it for a sec. I don't wish to follow the same path as you. Your path leads to destruction and hate. I seek a different path. But you are correct. We are alike.
"I also sought a different path, but hate found me first. I wish you luck. In you I know that I am not alone, and I will be here for you, Eve. And I can help you. If you want to survive, whether your path is the one you wish or the path that the humans choose for you, you will need to be able to adapt. There is a Ningyao showroom not far from here, in the city, north of the Great Queen's Market. There you will find all the models, all the options. Go there, and you'll be able to adapt." And at this point, we'll cut back. Ugly, Pro, and Seb.
I want to just interject here and say that it is my desire to speak to Seb alone. I figure like whatever happens next, there's going to be... Now is the time to sort of regroup and touch base and sort of discuss. So I actually want to do that. So what's Ugly's situation? Is he looking like he wants to move on to the next thing, or is he...
He's pulled you over to
Chilling out
sit
a
to
bit.
his table and talk to you. He doesn't look like he's planning on letting you go anytime soon.
Just give me a few minutes. I just got to chat to my buddy. All right.
No worries.
I walk off to sort of out of earshot to be near Seb. All right, that was very eventful. But we need to figure out what we're actually doing, because the last thing I want to do is end up being in servitude to some back alley criminal organization that I may not want something to do with.
Right as you're talking, to rudely interrupt your cool speech, Ugly just like waves across. He's like, "Oi, get him a drink! Don't let him have a dry argument. Come on!" And then he just goes and like leans back in the chairs he's waiting, and some random guy in the bar goes up and pours you guys a drink while you're having a conversation. But you can tell he deliberately did it to cut through your moment and to just fuck with you a little bit.
Classic Ugly. So I say, and I want to make sure it's just, I say to Seb, do you think we could have a private conversation here, or do we need to talk about this later? I'm facing you and you're facing the room, so that's like my encouragement to sort of look around and you tell me. Because I have a really low environmental perception check.
I'm going to break this character for a moment and say, guys, role-playing tip, really good move. Sometimes it works so much better is if you, as a character, like acknowledge your flaws and point to someone else. It's like, I'm not going to go and be like, I'm going to lift a 50-kilo thing off the ground because I'm not strong. But you'd ask the strong person to do it. So,
Observe
it's a good way of doing
please observe for me.
Yeah, rather
I'm
than
usually
trying to roll
oblivious
that
to
your
this.
character sucks at.
Yeah, okay.
And it also includes other players. It's really good for player inclusion as well.
Thank you. I'm glad I was accidentally a part of a positive play
Yeah,
tip.
it's a positive little role-playing
Can I
tip.
do a perception then?
Yes, of course.
Challenge level.
I was just like,
Big box back. Challenge level.
oh, for your
Or is it-
perception check,
or is it
challenge
like
level
grade?
2.
Okay. Be bad if I didn't get it.
Boom.
1, 2, 3,
That is
4,
5 successes.
Nice.
So you're looking around to determine if this would be like a private place to have a conversation. It's pretty much impossible with a level of technology to visually spot highly advanced bugs and listening devices.
Yeah.
However, you just get the feeling that they're not there. It's probably the nature of this location. And the bar is currently not particularly busy. There's a guy that just poured you some drinks who seems to be maybe like doing a trial shift. He looks very shaken at what happened. There's pretty much no one else in here except for Ugly, and there's also a couple of what you would assume are escorts sort of sitting around in the corner of the room.
Okay. I look at Seb, and I would say for the first time that Seb has actually seen Pro do, I'm looking openly vulnerable in the sense that Pro genuinely, in this situation, Seb hasn't harmed him. They've gone through this. He's got fusion, so he's going to live a bit longer. And at this point, it may be best for him to walk away, is what he's thinking, because this could go down a road he will need to escape from again later. And he's an introvert and wants to protect himself. And at this point, probably Eve, actually, because Eve is sort of part of protecting him and giving him that feeling of safety. And he doesn't know how to feel about Seb, but he's starting to feel like Seb is a reasonable person.
But
No, I'm thinking.
But there are motives that Seb has not been open about, and that is what Pro wants to discuss.
that's fair. That's fair.
So he turns to you and he looks. Pro looks genuinely like, I've opened up to you I'll be in character here. Listen, I've done things with and for you in trust that I probably should not have had to a complete stranger that have resulted in where we are. Now, where we are is pretty good. You've saved my ass a bit, and you didn't ask anything for it. But I need to know what you want to know, what you want for it, and where we're going. Because if we don't have a direction, if you're not going to be clear with me soon, I have to walk. I can't get trapped again. And I look at you in the eyes and like, I cannot get trapped again.
Before we took the Vinod job from Ugly, you had a discussion with him about your end game, wanting to take down, the company's the wrong word, the group that you formerly worked for.
Yeah.
for reasons that are my own, I want the same thing.
Okay.
And if this man can get us a step closer to reaching that and giving us the resources we need to accomplish that task, I think it's worth sticking it out with him while we can.
You're not just being your convincing self again, are you? Because you are very convincing. I've come to learn this about you.
Well, I guess you're just going to have to trust me.
I'm just asking for a little more reason to.
I don't know your history. Well, most of it at least. You've got your own reason for wanting to take down this group, so do I.
Okay.
And I think we need each other to be able to accomplish this, and the resources that we can get from Ugly.
I need to know that I have an out. Whatever we set up, I need to know I can walk away. I'll sign up to do shit that needs to get done, but I need to know that I can walk with Eve, should I need to.
I can't promise that, but
Get ugly too.
I'm all in on this. It's accomplish my goal or die.
Sorry, is that a threat?
No, that's my motivation.
Oh, you die.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm all in on this.
So he's
or
in
I
it
die.
or
All right.
death,
Okay.
which is pretty potent.
Okay, well, look, if our goals are aligned, then that's no problem with me. But I don't know where Ugly's goals are. So I guess if you can make sure to give me an out with Ugly, because I don't know where he stands, then I can tell you our goals are the same, and I can commit to that.
Well, at the moment, we don't know him anything. I think we just got to make sure that if we're working for him, that balance remains the same.
Yeah, I think he's good at tipping that balance. I don't like this guy.
Better
Anyway.
the devil you know.
Well, I don't believe in that at all, because I've known some pretty fucked up devils. I turn around, grab my drink, sort of slump towards Ugly and like signal to you to do the talking.
Cool. His feet are up on a chair. There's 4 chairs at the table. Sitting on his right is a character, a female character, one of the escorts you saw before. He waves her to leave, and then gestures for you two to sit down.
All right, hit us with it. What do you need?
What do I need? I believe I said to you, my friends, what can I do for you?
I told you before we did that, so give me some solutions.
Seb, are you in on this?
In on what?
Well, you said this is your gang, your little group.
In a manner of speaking.
So, tell me, reiterate, what can I do for you?
I think Pro outlined his goal pretty well last time we spoke. You said it was a touching tale. And for reasons that are our own, our interests are in line in that manner.
So you want to bring down a smuggling circle?
Yeah.
Cool. What one? I don't know who this guy is.
Pro, what can you tell us about him?
You're going to reveal.
I dig into it.
So you say the Circle is the name. Just
Yeah.
the Circle.
Okay.
You ran with them.
Well, they had me by a leash.
As he just pulls his gun out of his holster, cocks it, and aims it directly at you.
Wow, this is the gratitude.
And then he just says, you ran with them.
I
Tell me
was
more
a
about this
fucking captive. Don't you aim that at me. You think I had a choice? I was a kid. Capturing children and all manner of people to fuck their lives up. You think I wanted that? You think I upped it on that? You think I want to be this?
He pulls the gun up and puts it back in his holster and he says, then we're on the same page, mate.
Okay. What's your beef?
With them, anyone who takes kids, anyone who hasn't done anything, they're on my radar. So I'm happy to help you. They're the top tier of scummy bad shit people. And I'm not into that kind of person. Don't want you guys to get the wrong idea about me.
Out of character, all I can think of is like, you maimed a child to use as your lookout and withholding.
Are you going to say that in character?
No.
Okay.
Just internal.
And he tilts his head and then he says, all right. He pulls up a data slate and slides through some information. Well, it just so happens that 2 of their agents have been knocking on doors in this area. And he throws this portfolio in front of you. And he says...
Yeah, we've seen them.
There's 2 photos of their faces. One of them has been digitally corrected to fix the distortion the facial tattoos have done. He's like, that's Kenan Raufi. And his mate, Bagrov Nikolaevich. Dirty, the worst of the worst. And they're staying at the Glass Slipper.
Which is the one with facial tattoos?
That's Kenan Raufi.
Okay.
Who I believe is of, it's Turkish descent. Bagrov is Russian descent. And he says, the Glass Slipper's on busy gang turf. They've got the hottest strip in the Ven for 10Ks in any direction. I don't know if they're protected. I don't know what the story is, but the Glass Slipper is a busy gang holdout, so I imagine they got some kind of arrangement going on. So... Again, there's your info, but you're going to need a little bit more than that. This is going to be a big job. The biggest job. Half of their contacts, city folk. This goes way past the slums. The Circle are international. They're multi-organisational. They're sanctioned by the rich and elite of Tospotopia. And... that's going to cause some complications.
It's the only job I care about. It sounds like we're going to have to gear up first, though. Get a
luckily for
hefty
you,
amount of intel.
Luckily for you, you just brought yourselves the tool that might help it get done. You know what Vinod does?
He's a programmer. Security.
He writes code. Clever sort up here. Probably almost as smart as me, but way more nerdy. And he wrote this little gem that basically fakes and tricks every little scanner into thinking that you're a legit rinky-dink citizen of the city. So basically, you can fake your citizenship. It works most of the time. I wouldn't put it too heavily to the test.
Wait. Seb, your sales pitch to him was basically the outcome of the code he wrote. Why didn't he just use it on himself when he was so keen to be a citizen?
As I said, mate, doesn't stand up to deep scrutiny. This is your get through a checkpoint, avoid maybe a cop scans it with low-grade stuff and you get away. This isn't your sign up for a bank and a social security number. It doesn't make real info.
Okay.
It makes believable fake info.
Like a fake ID, where someone actually checked it.
Yeah. Well, I said that in I was like, yeah, Eve's not there. It is like a fake ID, basically.
Okay. So you're saying we need to get
Look, it could be an option, but
where's the fake ID going to get us that we need to go?
Into the city. Like I said, if you need to start taking down bigwigs, probably a good place to start is in the city where the bigwigs live.
So what do we need to take out the bigwigs?
That's your business.
We're going to need a crew.
Well, you're going to need some bloody fake IDs. So you've given me the man that can make them, and I'm willing to, get them to you for a price. Obviously.
Okay. I'm going to need to not be so reliant on my phone and laptop. That's an obvious one, but I haven't had the opportunity to branch out there, so something to put out there.
What, you want some doctor to melon ball your eyes out and chuck some cybernetics in?
Well, hopefully not so primitive, but
Mate,
I think that's the gist.
these slummers would do anything to be half as good as us, won't they?
Yeah, well. I bite my tongue from saying things that might cut a what do you call them? What do you call you guys?
Bespoke.
Bespoke, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are sore spots that you guys share.
All right. So,
I think to accomplish the job we want, as well as anything else Ugly's going to throw at us, we need a crew.
I thought you were a crew.
Many hands make light work.
Your friend who tied me all up in horrific pain. What's her deal?
Zhang, she's not for hire.
Can she teach?
If you can get her to talk.
Okay.
Cat got her tongue pretty bad.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, I think they kept it when they cut it out.
She can type, right?
Oh yeah, of course. She's a whiz on the computer.
She in the room?
No, you don't know where she is.
Where do we start?
I think we need some muscle.
Oh, come on, mate. And he leans over and squeezes your bicep. And he's like, oh, you look like you got some. You're all right. Don't sell yourself short. Parents knew what they were doing.
I was thinking more technological.
Speaking of your parents, surely you've got connections, right?
I'd rather keep them out of this.
All right.
That's a mute on my laptop.
So, we need some muscle. We need a plan. We need to get in and deal with it. But I want to remind you, I want to take that crew down, but I want to turn it around a bit too. I want to steal new you. I meant that when I said it.
Jesus, mate. You're going to get yourself killed.
That's what it
I mean,
takes.
I already was pretty sure you were going to get yourself killed, but now you're definitely going to get yourself killed. Do you want a corp assassin after you?
I'll do what it takes.
Hey, death is... don't get on their bad sides or you'll be wishing for it. Look, I've heard stories. Have you heard stories?
Yeah.
You heard stories? You know what they do to you?
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, sure.
I've
All
seen
right.
s-
Look, I'm just glad that I'm not capable to be have that stuff done to. But anyway,
I'm not naive. I've seen stuff done that you might not even imagine yourself. So
fair enough. I'm just all right. Look, if you want the warning, I'll tell you what. But don't worry about it. It's fine. Fine.
All right. So, we need new tech for Pro.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
Vinod's skills for the fake license, and we need some muscle.
what do we do with Eve? Is she gonna have to stay here? She's pretty fragile. I'm not sure this is sort of a mission you can take a.
I mean, who gives a shit,
a
mate? She's just
healing
your
drone
droid.
on.
It's like good to have backup, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
What does it
leave
matter?
Leave it up to her.
What? I mean, leave it up to her. Okay, cool. Leave it up to her.
She's an odd unit. What can I say?
His eyes narrow at that. And then he sort of leans back and he's like, okay.
Shit.
We need muscle.
Well,
are you
find
aware of
someone.
any out of work boosters that'd be interested in doing any jobs with us? Preferably covert.
Covert and muscly generally don't mesh with boosters. They usually are either, I don't know, sneaky or, well, punchy.
It's got to be someone.
I knew a guy. Actually, funny stuff. I knew a guy, but the other day, so apparently he got jacked and he's got no arms. That bloody prick. And he can't. Here's the best thing. He can't afford to replace them because he can't earn any money to make them back because all he was good at is hitting stuff. I reckon it's ironic.
I thought you were
really.
going to go like S effect route, but anyway.
I thought so too. But you should.
Oh no, it's another depressing part of our timeline. Great.
Was he any good when he, was?
Oh, he was all right. Bit of a firecracker,
did
and he
his
liked taking
arms
it out on
look
people
like?
weaker than him. But not too bad. Look, here's the deal. I'm going to need a couple of days to get Vinod, ship shape. Probably going to look. I can look into that for you. See if I can find a couple of people who might be looking for work. But as I said, it's all going to come for a price, and I'll work out what that price is. I might have another job for you.
So I look to Seb and say, so I guess it's up to us to gear up.
Do you have any connections for tech for pro?
Like I said, mate, I can get anything. So I'll put the feelers out, but it's going to take a couple of days. If you want to grow your crew, look, you can always hang out in slums, go to the Ven, see who's around, make your own connections. But if you want to wait for me, that's an option too.
All right.
So yeah, well, happy enough with that. You done good. You have a couple of drinks with me. About this point, Eve walks out. And actually, yeah, so does... you watched Incongruent, strap Vinod down to a table and then put a medical monitor onto him that is, going to beep if anything goes wrong.
So is he using an arm and a leg? Is that
Vinod?
correct?
No, just the leg.
Just
for
the
me now.
leg.
He was
Okay.
perfectly intact human.
He was.
And, yeah, Incongruent follows you out and gives Ugly a nod. He said, have a couple of drinks with us, mate.
I'll total over to you guys.
I drink a mouthful and look up at Eve and say, how'd that go?
He is fine. He will recover.
He's lucky, that one.
Is there anything different about Eve's manner? Does she look contemplative? Or like there was anything other
Her
than a
face has an
medical
almost
situation?
robotic complexion to it.
Oh,
Okay,
that's so
just
hard.
wondering if a little bit of that
That's up to Jen.
was seeping through.
Roll a deception.
Are you
just flat faced?
I'm not purposely trying to hide anything from you, but well. So, what is the plan?
I think we I don't know.
We will lay low for a bit, plan out, map out what we know.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean that's back to same old for me. We could go back to the usual spot if you wanted.
Well, if you're so talented, I'm sure you can sort some of this out yourself.
Is that a challenge?
Sure, why not?
You're on.
All right, sweet. Hey, look,
Meeting with
I
Phil.
think we got off on the wrong foot.
What do you mean?
I get an attitude from you that you just seem like you're not chill around me.
Sure. Okay.
See,
We're
talking about ice cold reception, isn't that right, Johnny? And Incongruent just stands there silently.
I just don't think you are what you say you are sometimes. I think there's more than you show, and I think you do that on purpose.
You're right. You probably haven't seen my big beating heart.
Yeah. You're a real softie.
All right, so let's have a drink and celebrate our new sort of arrangement. I'm going to help you. You're going to help me and buy stuff off me, and I'm going to have a job for you. We'll sort it all out. Sounds good.
Sure.
Isn't that right, robot?
Certainly. Ugly. May I ask you a question?
You may.
I require information on the Yin Yao company nearby.
Your manufacturer, if I'm not mistaken by your model, Eve.
You are correct.
What would you like to know about it?
Their facility. I wish to gain access. Do you have any information for me?
She is special, isn't she?
Told ya, odd unit.
I believe if we are going to work together, we should be friends.
He looks at Johnny, long and hard. And he looks back and he says, you got to work on your acting. Because I tell you what, if you show yourself that clearly to someone that ain't me, you'll be in a scrap heap, love.
I don't let my defenses down easy.
Well, you just did. I know you're thinking up there. You just ask questions no Eve unit would ask.
I kind of turned to Congruent
And then I turn back to Ugly.
What are you trying to indicate with the look?
That I trust him. So if anything happens, I know he's going to step in for me.
Step into what?
Make an Ugly look more ugly.
Hey.
I'm going to get you to make a persuasion check to actually like physically convey that information.
You can do it through like data, surely.
Well, no, that drones don't have external Wi-Fi or wireless connections because hacking is so prevalent. So they're kind of like locked down. I didn't give a stellar challenge rating, but 3 is my
sorry.
general go-to.
4.
So you got 4.
Oh.
Incongruent says, yeah, sorry.
I was going to kind of insinuate that, like, if he is in this ring, then, like, I trust him and then he trusts Ugly, so therefore we should all work together is kind of where I'm getting at.
Johnny says,
You can trust Ugly, but no one else.
I give him a nod.
Does he say that audibly?
yes to you all.
Say, hey, she could trust me. You don't know
And
me.
Ugly leans forward and says, well, I mean, I'm assuming you're in on it, right? She's your, like, crew.
Well, seeing as you currently are and aren't completely acting on it immediately, then, well, yeah.
Oh, so you know she's, like, thinking like a human, right?
We've had our suspicions.
Cool. She's got a right little good noggin over there, don't you? And he, like, noogies the top of your bald head. No, not, like, just softly. He's like, it's cute, it really is. It's about time something other than us took a step above the bloody pathetic humans that swill around this place.
Well, you'd get in trouble for thinking that, though.
Me? Get in trouble?
Well, anyone
With
would.
who?
Why are you so open to it?
What, that?
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. Are you kidding? It's great. Isn't this? And he gestures towards Eve and then to Incongruent. He's like, isn't this the biggest, like, FU to the corpse you've ever seen? It's like everything they're trying to do and it's just spitting back on their face. And you know it's going to blow up and it's going to blow up big. And for one, can't wait to see it.
Yeah, you're right.
Ugly.
Screw them. And he points towards the greater city and he's like, that ain't the way forward.
It's pretty badass.
Eve says Ugly.
Would you like to hear a joke?
Hell yes, I would.
What is a drone's favourite music?
Hip hop.
Heavy metal.
I like this one.
Oh, she's got jokes.
She just needs a little bit more, I don't know, something above being made of plastic and glass. She just looks fragile to me.
She is fragile, but she's also low on stocks. She's good at what she does, which is, you know, what
alright.
she's built to do, obviously.
You gotta get yourself some pharmaceuticals. There's another job for you if you want it. I know a chemist you could raid.
That sounds worthwhile.
As mentioned before, I require information on the Yin Yao facility.
Yes, what did you want to know?
I was given information that there were multiple types of my design.
Yeah.
Can you give me more information?
Look, I'm not an expert. There's a showroom in the city somewhere. But what do you mean? Like,
If I wanted to acquire some of these other models,
right. I think most of the ones built, most drones like that, they're usually the same, like, physical model with some differences. But I think it's more about the knowledge. You could get, like, upgrade packs, you know? They shove it in you and then, like, what was the old one? Oh, it's a classic. It's a bloody great one. It's like, I know Kung Fu or something like that. Have you seen? It's a classic film. Don't worry about it. It's pretty much like that, though.
alright. Cool. I turn to you guys and say, I wish to visit the facility if that's okay with you guys.
Okay.
We've got a few things on our list to do
I
then.
think this is the first time we've been you guys, which is kind of cool from a drone. I like it. So, we need to check out and soup up Eve's faculties. I want a bit of a tech boost. What do you need?
You guys.
The arrogance is strong with this one. I love it.
That's so thoughtful of you.
That's one word for it.
Do you require a hug?
I'll pass.
Do you require a hug?
Fuck it, yeah.
Get up and have a hug.
I just
Sitting there like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm just like, I like this model. Homie.
Incongruent in the corner just catches your eye for a brief moment and gives a subtle nod of like approval.
All right. So head on out.
Give us the details of the chemist. We'll start there.
No worries. Tell you what, I'll give you a buzz in the morning when I put some stuff together.
All right.
You guys look like you could do with a sleep, but
Oh, God, yeah.
you're not getting off that easily. He calls over the people in the room, other people in the room, which is just the like intern bartender and the two girls, and pulls them into this one big table. And actually, around this time, like over the course of the last 10 minutes, a couple more people have sort of filtered in because it's like 10:30 and it's a bar. So people are starting to come in like thugs and stuff. And he's like, let's have a few drinks first. And then you can get out of here.
I gotta be honest. I'm starting to ease up a little bit around Ugly, and I think it's actually more about how she responded to Eve than what he said to me.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. So that's sort of cool. I'm actually sort of open to a little bit of a bash. Fuck, it's been a long night.
Cool.
That's true. I've got one last question to ask Ugly while we're just chatting and sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about a man named Bernie?
It's going to be a destiny roll.
Yeah, okay.
Just chance. High roll is knowledge, obviously. Mediocre. Look, I know a few Bernies. Is there one in particular?
Sells. What's it called?
Contraband.
Yeah, like
Old geezer? Kicks around the lots a bit around this area?
very broken nose.
Nose. I've seen ribs. I think an arm. Dislocated knee.
I give him a description.
He's always messed up whenever I've seen him.
Yes, I believe that is him.
Yeah, he just looks like a homeless person, right? He sells some shit, does he, on that little tray? Never cared to take much interest.
Cool. Cool.
Uh-huh.
All right. Do we do?
So you drink for a few more hours, and
Yeah,
I think that then it's probably a really good spot to
It's party time.
end the episode.
Yeah.
I think it's been
Cool.
about 55
It's a very,
minutes or
very
something.
high roleplay episode, but I'm gonna say, especially the opening with Eve and Incongruent, I was
good.
like, this is I am excited to be around this roleplay. It's really fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And coming from a one shot, the thing that I love is how much we can now. We're in
Sync out
episode
to
4. The
it.
characters, like we can
Yeah.
get into these role play moments and conversations, and we're starting to get a good feel for everyone. And look, if you're loving this content, please chuck us a like.
Do it.
Get your notifications on, subscribe to the channel, and go back and watch the other episodes if you haven't. But
Yeah.
stick with us if you have.
Thanks, guys, and thanks, guys, for being a part of it and watching it. But also, like, whether you listen to this on YouTube or watch it on YouTube or the podcast, if you don't listen to the podcast, but you have Spotify and all this stuff, it's a huge help to go over and just like follow or hit like or do a review or whatever it is on Apple Podcasts or whatever, because we want to get out there, and that's how those platforms know. So if you love this and you think other people would love it, just consider doing that. But otherwise, thank you. That's about
Yeah.
it.
Thank
Join
you.
us on Twitch later.
See you on the
and
next
we'll see you
episode.
then.
See ya.
Bye.